It's episodes like this that manage to give me that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. So much so that it made me want to reflect on some of my old memories. Like when Derek and I played hide and seek. I was hiding for like 3 days. Or when I had a staring contest with Gary. He was mad good, it's like I was staring at a statue the whole time. Oh, and how can I forget when Gabby and I baked muffins? I must have been a really good cook. The tray was empty in like 2 minutes. Well, I guess we'll soon see if my skill is still sufficient. Because I baked a certain some pony a birthday cake. After a little taste of new season with the cutie map, I was pumped and ready for what Hasbro would toss at us next. Especially since it was going to be a slice of life, my favorite. And what's this? New writers bringing us the second episode just like last season? Castlevania was a really enjoyable ride, and honestly I don't see why this one can't be just as good. So does this episode feel at home with the other MLP classics, or is it not as sweet as the title implies? Well, let's have ourselves a look and find out. The episode starts off with Twilight and Fluttershy giving some animals a bath. Hosing them down, drying them off, and even brushing their teeth for them. Why does she wipe their butts as well? After the deed is done, Fluttershy insists that Twilight go home and clean herself up. The response?
Oh no! Angel got dirty. I'd better stay longer to help give him a bath too.
You need us?
I'm good. After a little intro, with Twilight's new castle photoshopped in the background, we find out what was blatantly obvious already. Twilight is hell-bent on keeping away from her new home. Well, if I was living in a huge, empty, lifeless abode with nothing but cold crystal walls surrounding me, I wouldn't feel too comfortable myself. But I'd certainly feel more powerful. Says the king. So, what's the logical thing to do for her? A full house makeover! Though I will admit it is a bit odd that Twilight never thought to spruce up the castle on her own. I mean, she clearly has plenty of time based on all the helping she was able to do, so why not just take a day to redecorate? Oh well, at least it is nice to see that she trusts her friends enough to make her place feel like home. Oh, and bonus points for having Rarity suggested. Glad to see her subtly representing her element again. Unlike last time.
I've never seen you look this... frazzled? Yes, that is absolutely the word I was going to use.
Of course you were. So, after the remaining 5 convince Spike to take Twilight out for the day, we get ourselves a little house decorating montage, set to a really enjoyable little number. It's more catchy than our town was at the very least. And as the music sways, we see all of Twilight's friends finding exactly what they need to make Twilight feel at home. Like party cannons, rainbow dashes, trophies, more crystals. Did they forget that they were decorating Twilight's home and not a main 6 clubhouse? I mean, really? You decide to fix up a house for Twilight, some pony you've known for 4 seasons, and to make her feel at home you only gather stuff that tickles your fancies? I mean, Testing 1, 2, 3 had a similar plot where the main 6 all had their own ways of fixing their friend's problem, but that made a bit more sense because I'm sure that none of the main 6 knew what Rainbow Dash's study habits were. I mean, can you see that coming up in a casual conversation? But in this case, I think the 6 have been in Twilight's house enough times to have some kind of grasp of what makes her feel at home. Was it no pony's first instinct to at least bring up Book or 2? Eventually, the 6 realized that all they managed to do was make a huge mess. Shouldn't you be realizing something else as well? No? Alright then. Rarity charms her little Spiky Wikey into stalling Twilight, and Spike returns to the spa to do just that.
Spike, you're back! How do I look?
Like fan art waiting to happen. Spike begins stalling by asking for a massage, and then we get... the funniest thing in the episode.
Yeah! Let's do this, little dragon!
I swear, I almost spit up my drink when I first saw that. And luckily it wasn't the only time. The humor in this episode was fantastic. Pinky snatching the pancake out of Rarity's magic, Spike's initial reaction in the new castle, Rarity almost throwing up after smelling AJ's quilt, and who could forget when Pinky hit all those party cannons but forgot where she even left them. Only 2 episodes in and we've already had our first big laughs. Let's hope the writers can keep this comedy going throughout the season. And let's also hope for some more speaking roles for characters that have never had them.
I knew she was still trouble.
Just be sure to pick your voices carefully. We then cut back to the castle to see just how much progress the remaining 5 have made.
Every pony has taken something out except you.
Not much.
They end up getting into a big argument over what to remove in the castle, And the scene actually cuts away before this gets resolved. Don't worry, I've got just what we need for when they come back. After the relaxing little spa treatments, some more relaxing than others, we get a scene of Twilight and Spike reminiscing over the good times they had in the library. It's not only a very touching moment, but also reminds the audience of the good times we've had there as well. Learning new lessons, meeting new friends, and overall making some memories of our own. In a way, the library meant just as much to us as it did to the two of them, so I could definitely see why so many bronies were heartbroken after its destruction. Farewell, our wooden keeper of precious memories and daring do books 1 through 7. We salute you.
Like every tree stands on its own.
So, after another unsettled diversion by Spike, which you'd think Twilight would have caught on to by now, we cut back to the goings-on in the castle. Alright, I think we all know where this is gonna go. I'll just play my Twilight Solves Everything wildcard and we'll just go home early today.
Maybe we're all a little guilty of making ourselves feel at home instead of Twilight.
Come on, y'all. We just need to think about Twilight. We had a lot of good memories there, though. That's what made the Golden Oak Library home.
Yeah!
That's it!
So the remaining 5 stopped their fighting, fixed their first mistake, and came up with a potential solution all on their own. You know what? Interest peaked. Please continue. We see Spike continuing to stall Twilight at sofas and quills, which has apparently expanded to sofas, quills, beds, drapes, pillows, blankets, and candles now. And then we get a reprise of the episode's song, which basically explains the moral of the episode. In the long run, the things you own in a house don't really matter as much as the memories you make within it. Objects can be replaced over time, but memories are truly special and unique experiences that nobody can take away from you. It's a lesson that I'm sure many viewers of my age have already learned, but hey, when you consider that this is aimed at kids, most of which have never experienced this moral yet, I'd say this episode brings up just what they need to understand it, taking the perfect steps to ensure the best delivery.
Did your man deliver, or did he deliver?
My man delivered.
So what exactly was this idea that the main 5 had to make this castle a home? Well, something that took me by surprise, I'll admit. Turns out that they created a crystal chandelier made up of the Pokeoak's roots, with every crystal containing a special memory that Twilight shared with her friends. Jeez, take my kudos and then some. This is a brilliant idea. I mean, not only does Twilight now have her own crystal scrapbook where she can reminisce on the good times she's had with her friends, but it even includes a piece of her old home, so she'll always remember her first residence in Ponyville. It'll certainly remind her of her roots, am I right? Okay, I'll stop. So in the end, we get a cute little tearjerker moment, followed by the main 6 admitting that they might have added a few homing touches to some other areas of the castle, which I do hope we'll get to see in the future.
What was that?
One of Pinkie Pie's confetti cannons.
What? It's not my fault I hid them so well.
Man, she must be a ton of fun on Easter. So that was Castle Sweet Castle, and...
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yep, that about sums it up. I'm always up for seeing a sweet little slice of life after a huge course adventure. And as far as this episode goes, I think it turned out really good. The story managed to both surprise me and kick me in the feels more than once. The moral, while obvious to older viewers, was perfectly presented for kids. The animation and visuals were eye candy as always, and just about every joke in this episode made me laugh and made me laugh hard. With that said, however, I will say that the plot did leave me scratching my head a few times. I mean, are you trying to tell me that Twilight's closest friends thought that bringing their own items of splendor would make Twilight feel more at home? I can see some characters like Pinkie acting this way, but Applejack, who's shown to be extremely sensible, and Rarity, who's already demonstrated in the past how well she can handle clients with personalities outside of her own? Yeah, I ain't buying that. But similar to Brino Gossip, I can't deny that the stuff in the episode that works well just works much too well for me to personally hate it. Plus, these are new writers we're talking about, and for first go, this is really enjoyable. Hopefully we'll get to see them flourish as the season goes on. So in conclusion, I will say that despite some questionable plot points, I did enjoy Castle Sweet Castle a lot. Is it the most structurally sound of the bunch? No. But does that make it unwatchable? Well, similar to what you'd enjoy having in a home, that all depends on your personal tastes. I'd say the episode is worth one viewing at the very least. As for me, I'd say this episode has enough enjoyability to justify a spot on top of my list. Let's hope for more enjoyable slices in the future. I'm Finn the Pony, and thank you all for sharing this moment with me. You've helped me create a fond memory I'll cherish forever, and I'm sure this season will help us create even more fond memories with each new episode. Hello?
Hello, is this Finn the Pony?
The very same. What can I do for you?
Well, I have a few questions in regards to your birthday present for Mr. Tightwad.
My cake? Why is there something wrong? Oh no, did I forget to write his name on it? I had the icing on the counter and everything. Well, you tell him not to eat another bite, because I'll be at his place as soon as possible.
That's not quite what I...
So long, Bronies and Adventure Time fans. See y'all soon.
Sir? Hello? Are you still there? Clear. So, what did he put in the cake? Well, he didn't specify, I'm afraid, so we're not sure how to treat it. What? It seems the only option right now is to surgically remove it. What?